Hello, Will here, and today, as you saw at the beginning, we're doing something a little bit different. So we are doing daily races, but we're just doing daily race Bs. We're not doing all of them, just doing daily race B. But as you saw at the beginning, I'm doing something a little bit different because you obviously get the people doing these like charity live streams, which at the moment I'm I'm incapable of actually being able to do anything like that because I don't have the ability to live stream due to many reasons. Primarily it's just my internet's not very good for that at the moment. I only have, and it's like basically I wouldn't be able to do it because it just wouldn't turn out, it wouldn't look very good. So instead of sort of like doing a charity live stream, I thought I'm going to do a bunch of races, put into a video, but have a livery to bring awareness to certain charity. Well, in this case, it's to the charity called CLAPA. But I probably will be doing this with other charities in the future as well. Just to try and bring some awareness to them. There will be a link in the description below to the charity's homepage, where you can go and find out more information about exactly what they do, what their goal is. Also, you have the ability to donate there as well, which I will be doing that myself at the end of this video. You probably won't see it because I can't actually integrate it in because I can't actually record it directly, but I will show you that I will be donating like a few quid. You don't have. That's the thing. I'm not doing this to ask you to donate loads of money. For example, if you think actually, you know what, I will donate something, even if it was just something just like a fiver, like £5. Even if it's just something like £5, that helps. Any kind of little contribution technically in the end does help, whether it's £5 or £500. But so we're racing in this one. We're racing for CLAPA. Now CLAPA is it's a UK charity organisation, and the CLAPA stands for Cleft Lip and Palate Association. Now, if you're not entirely sure what that is, now I don't know all the full details of everything to do with it in the ways of its medical side, but you can find out more information about that on CLAPA's website. But basically, a cleft lip is that sometimes you will see when children are born, you will see sometimes that there's a gap on their top lip. There might be like a gap in the center of their lip, and it's going from their lip up to their nose, for example. So there's like a little gap. You would have seen that at the beginning of this video. Children who are born with cleft lips, and a cleft palate is when there is a hole in the roof of your mouth. So, a little bit of contact there. Yeah, unfortunately, this race wasn't the smoothest race out of all of them, but it was the cleanest, unsmoothest race out of all of them, if that makes any sense. But no, so now going back onto what is CLAPA's goal. So CLAPA's goal, from what I understand, from what I read on their website, their goal is not to sort of like pay for all these children have these surgeries to, it's getting a bit rough there, to have these surgeries to fix their cleft lips, to fix their cleft palates. Though that is one thing that they do help with, because in some countries, obviously, for example the UK, normally that kind of thing is covered by the NHS, which the NHS is paid by the general public. But obviously in some countries they don't have that kind of health system. So I think, for example, one country I'm just going to use off the top of my head, America, for example, or the USA, they obviously have to pay for the actual surgery. So that could be something like $240. So in the case of that, they have to pay for it, and now not everybody can afford to pay for that. So there are other organisations that do this kind of also do this kind of work. If I find any others, I will also link them in the description below. Just in case you want to have help or feel like that you want to help out and you want to make a small donation, but you're not from the UK, I will provide you with some other organisations that are more globally, work more globally, whereas CLAPA works more independently to the UK. But CLAPA's goal is to help these families, because obviously when they're first born, obviously feeding them can be a little bit tricky at first because of this gap in their lip or because of this gap in their palate. Feeding them can be, it's a little bit more trickier than feeding a newborn who is not born with a cleft lip or a cleft palate. So it's a little bit trickier. But it's not just to help parents learn how to feed their children. It's also just to also bring in awareness and an understanding to what it is to have a cleft lip, what it has to have a cleft palate. And due to the fact that sometimes these kids they don't always get the surgery that they need to help fix it. They do obviously grow up into adolescence and they still have it. Now obviously at that point, sometimes they can be bullied in the school, they can be bullied outside in social life, they can be picked on, bullied, seen as different. So it's defined to help people understand what it is to have a cleft lip, what it is to have a cleft palate, and how to deal with that potential backlash from society. So they want to bring in an understanding, but also at the same time they do like to take the children who are in this situation, along with their families for like fun days out, activities to do with one another, so these kids can meet other children and adolescents who have the same affliction, who have just the same birth abnormality. I don't know if that's an insensitive way of putting it, but it's the only way I can think of putting it at the moment, is that it's a birth abnormality. But it's not directly always permanent. It is fixable, and so families who do want to have their children have this surgery can get it done. But obviously, the way with how society is at the moment, there's not always the best understanding. So that's one of CLAPA's goals, is to create a better understanding, to create a happier childhood for children who are born with a cleft lip or a cleft palate. And now we're on to race 2. Now, so that first race was a bit rough. This one does go a little bit smoother, I will say. So in future videos, if I do anything else to do with charities like this, I will be thinking about doing some other ones. So if there's any charities that you think should deserve some like recognition of some kind, or if there's a charity that you work for and you would like me to do a bunch of races with a quote sponsor end quote from them on a car livery, let me know in the comments below and I will see what I can actually do. Because for example, the CLAPA logo, I had to upload that myself to the game. So some charities that might already actually have a logo in the game which can be used, but some charities don't. So CLAPA, I had to upload their logo myself. But yeah, so CLAPA's goal it's a good goal. It's a good goal. It's an achievable goal. And I think they're still. I can't remember when they started. Again, all this information will be on their website. But I think they started about in 1950s area. I believe. I may be wrong there. So you know they've been around for a little while. But again, their end goal is not an impossible end goal. It's an achievable end goal. As to what one of their end goals is, as well, is that they want to also help raise money into the research into what it is that actually causes a cleft lip or a cleft palate to happen. You know, because if you can battle it from its roots, then it is easier to reduce. Like in exactly the same way as Edward Jenner did against smallpox. He was able to pretty much eradicate smallpox for quite a long time by doing research and studying with it by actually using cowpox. So it's not all, so their CLAPA's end goal is not all just about teaching people, it's also about research and to find out what causes it and is there a way to combat it, because unfortunately also at the same time, now I don't think it's so much children born with a cleft lip, but I think it's more to do with children born with a cleft palate, is that they are more vulnerable to maybe developing breathing problems, which obviously at a very young age of, you know, being like 6 months old, for example, it's a very hard thing to combat. If you have a breathing problem, it's a very hard thing to combat. So it's, you know, they want to try and make it so that it's easier for us to combat it, easier for us to deal with any potential other medical conditions that may develop because of a cleft lip or cleft palate. And also, so we go on a bit more of a personal note when it comes to it. Don't know what that French guy was doing there. But no, so that comes into a bit more of a personal note as well, because obviously as the kids grow, they obviously I break way too early here. But no, as they get older, if they haven't managed to get the their lip, have the surgery done for their lip, now sometimes they may not have the most amount of confidence in themselves, into the ways of how they appear to other people. As for example, it's kind of sort of like, for example, they may never smile. Not because they're just the non-smiley type, but because they just don't have the confidence to smile. Because of how they think that some people will see them. And I can vouch for that on a bit more of a personal level myself, because for myself, back in November last year, I had to have dental surgery, into which I can't remember the number, because I think, you know, the average adult has 36 teeth, and I had to have dental surgery to have 23 removed. So, and then from November, from after my surgery, from November until about, I think maybe about August, September time this year, I had to spend all those months with barely having any teeth in my mouth, and I didn't want to smile. I really did not want to smile. because of what I thought people would think. Now, people with children with a cleft lip can also feel like that, most likely feel like that, in the same principle with their smile. But I was lucky enough that I could afford to get the dental work done to have a new set of dentures made for me to give me back my smile. And now I am more confident to smile. I am more happy to actually talk to people very, a bit more close up. Whereas before I would always try and like hide it away. But I was lucky enough that I could afford to pay for the dental work to get these dentures. Now, in the ways of the people having to pay for the surgery for their cleft lip to be fixed, not every family can afford that. That is the thing. Not every family can afford that, and that is one thing that CLAPA helps to do. Again, for example, in America, it's about $240, roughly. Yeah, I suppose it depends on which kind of state you're in. Whether you're in a northern state or a southern state, it might change. But there are some families who would want their children to have the surgery, but they just can't afford it. So CLAPA also actually helps with that, in finding ways to help families either to afford for it to be done, because, and now we're on to race 3, because sometimes they have to pay for dental work to be done as well, more than likely, to have like teeth realigned and this, that and the other, which isn't always cheap. So from a personal note, to a personal level, I will say, even if you can only donate something like £5, even if it was just £5, you will have my thanks. So now we're going to come on to the last race, which was probably the smoothest race out of the whole thing, because I did this race about 10 times. Just to get this, I did this race about 10 times. And this was probably the best one out of the lot. Not just in the ways of result, but in the ways of like it being the smoothest or cleanest out of the lot as well. So we're going around one last time with the CLAPA RX-7. Now, this race was very unusual. Very unusual. Because you had to actually increase the power of your car to be able to actually get it up to the correct category number for the BOP, or the balance of power, to work. And yet also at the same time you could actually tune the car. You could adjust its gears, you could adjust its suspension, and toe angle and the camber angle. You can actually make all those adjustments, which doesn't normally happen in daily races. So this was very weird. So this wasn't just about who was the fastest around the track. It was also about who was the best at tuning their car. I don't know what the hell that Spanish guy was doing. He's like, up he goes. Hey, taking one hell of a lunge there. Now, as you probably realised throughout this, whilst I've been talking about CLAPA's work, you probably realise that I've always started at the back, or at least the closest to the back as I could be. But that was because I just wanted to have a bit of fun with these. So I didn't do any qualifying. I didn't put in a qualifying time. So I always started from the back and just see how I did. But also another thing that was a bit odd about this race was the penalties. In this one, obviously there's normally a penalty gate. The little yellow boxes on the side of the track where you serve a designated area to serve a penalty. But on this one they didn't have it. It was reverted back to the other system where you had to slow down yourself to serve it, which is very strange, very strange. And the Spanish guy there trying to go for an overtake, he just fails. Now I don't know what this Swede guy was doing. Now unfortunately there is a little bit of contact there between me and the Swiss driver. I think I might just call him the Swedish driver. Sorry about that. But the Swiss driver. Now I don't know what's going on because he went very slow through there. So unfortunately, because of that, there was a little bit of a tap from me because I wasn't expecting him to be going so slow. But the problem is, the Spanish driver behind me decided to finish him off. So the Spanish driver behind me actually got himself a penalty because of that. I think he had a penalty before that as well, but he's now just extended that penalty. So yeah. But yeah, so I don't know what that driver was doing. He, for some reason there, he was just going very slow on the S's and going up to where the Dunlop Bridge thing is. For some reason he was going really slow, and unfortunately wasn't a lot I could do to actually bloody avoid tapping him on that corner. Because I was expecting him to go like a little bit faster. But I've managed to climb up to 6, so we're not doing too bad. You know, we're trying to get CLAPA as high up as we can on this one. But so yeah, so once again, yeah, this daily race for a daily race was very unusual. It didn't follow the same kind of formula that it normally does, with balance of power and car settings being fixed. It allows you to adjust the car settings, which is very unusual. Go a bit deep in there, but I managed to get back on the power and keep the position. Going up to near the end of the 5th lap now, and you know, things aren't going too bad. You know, it could be going a lot worse. Now I don't know if you just heard something on the microphone there, because my thing's rubbing on something at the moment, so I'm trying to avoid doing that if I can. So sorry for the audio dip, potentially. So we're going to the 6th lap now. So at the moment, we're still in 6th, but 5th and 4th aren't out of the question at the moment. They're not out of the question. I just gotta make sure that I have I gotta make sure that this lap is smooth. Now, obviously the Italian there having a bit of a rubbish corner there, bit of a rubbish hairpin. I mean, probably my hairpin probably wasn't great either, but it did allow me to catch up. Now the Italian's going to keep ghosting a little bit here. I don't know why. He just kept ghosting all the time. Like little bits of smattering of ghosting. He did that a few times. But again, why? Don't know. Very unusual. So there, he's ghosting. So why is he ghosting? He's ghosting again. He's ghosting again. He's ghosting again. There he goes. Finally got rid of his penalty. Obviously that's why he was ghosting, but it's very strange. It's like, why not? Why do like little chunk by little chunk by little chunk? Just do it in one go. Alright, so we're going to the final lap. Gotta try and get past him if I can. Trying to see if I can get 5th. 4th, not impossible, but 5th is obviously definitely a lot more achievable. So Italian there, going a bit wide. Now I'm going to the inside. Little bit of contact there, but I think that's just because the Italian was trying to turn in just a little bit too much at that point, considering that I was on the inside there. Now the Italian guy went completely wrong there. He's gone off. I think he actually does. I think he left actually not long after that. Actually, kind of bugged himself up. But we're not really close enough to get 4th, so it looks like we're gonna get 5th. As we come around to the last corner, and just trying not to balls it up, and we're gonna come home in 5th. But that's it. So I hope you are, you've been a bit informed about this CLAPA charity and what they do. And so if you're a bit curious about it now, there will be a link in the description below to their webpage, where you can have a look about information about what they do. And also, please, again, even if it's just a small amount, like £5, any donation does help. But that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, so please remember to like and subscribe and share this video with some of your friends. Until next time, I will see you all at the finishing line.